Now it's time for Live with the Vibe. Your 4 expert coaches have heart-to-heart conversations, share their thoughts and points of view about the things that matter to you most: love, relationships, your career, and trauma. Here's Julianne Cantarella, Jacqui Atcheson, Susan Greif, and Amie Blumberg. It's time to learn a little, laugh a little. It's time for the Vibe.
Hi, and welcome to Live with the Vibe, where we have the heart-to-heart conversations. I'm Julianne Cantarella.
I'm Jacqui Atcheson.
I'm Susan Greif.
And I'm Amie Blumberg.
So today, everybody, we are going to be discussing health and wellness. So I'm going to start with a definition I found on wellness. Wellness is a difficult word to define. Traditionally, wellness has meant the opposite of illness and the absence of disease and disability. More recently, wellness has come to describe something that you have personal control over. Wellness is now a word used to describe living the best possible life you can, regardless of whether you have a disease or a disability. Your wellness is not only related to your physical health, but is a combination of things including spiritual wellness, social wellness, mental wellness, and emotional wellness. Wellness is seen as a combination of mind, body, and spirit. Different people may have different ideas about wellness. There is no single set standard for wellness, and wellness is a difficult thing to quantify. So I'm going to ask you guys, what does wellness mean to you? And as a coach, how do you incorporate wellness with your clients? Amie.
Wellness means to me really just calming myself and taking time for myself away from my business. As a solo practitioner and working in my own business with clients, I feel that I need to be in my own integrity and calm. And so for me, it really means about taking time and relaxing and really stepping away and trying to get out with nature. And I do a lot of mindset work in the beginning with my clients too when we begin to work together for many of the same reasons, that you really need to free yourself of so many different things.
Gotcha. Julianne, I'm going to scoot over to you.
Probably working on my physical health. I spiritually, I have a religion that I subscribe to, and that does help calm me and focus me and feel confident. But for a very long time, I let my physical health go. Not that I was ill in any way, but with the kids and my relationship with my husband and my business, that was like put on the back burner. That was the last thing. So now I've started to take care of myself, and nothing gets in the way of my getting to my Pilates class, and I love it, and it really helps center me. We do a lot of breathing in Pilates, and when I'm in situations where I'm feeling anxious or overwhelmed, I engage in that. And I think for me, as long as I'm feeling at ease and happy, I think for me, happy is the center of health and wellness, then we're okay. And as they say, if mama's happy, everybody's happy. Yeah, so I try to keep that in mind as well.
And how do you do that with your clients?
Sure. I definitely like to make sure they're in a place where they're taking care of themselves, because when someone's out and dating or trying to pursue a new relationship, they can be extremely overwhelmed. It can definitely cause anxiety. It can bring them back to a place where they're feeling vulnerable and exposed. Is someone going to like me? Is someone going to reject me? So to make sure that they're in a space where they're ready to manage this, I do discuss, taking care of, make sure they're eating well, make sure they're sleeping well, make sure they're getting exercise, and that not only is it just their business that they're focusing on and not going after a relationship, keep the balance. They must keep the balance.
Absolutely. Susan.
I agree. It's all about balance, and I'm talking about the balance of life. We have ourselves, we have our loved ones, we have others, we have our clients and our business. So to create balance in every day. And it's also about our own well-being. I believe in the whole yin-yang. I believe in chakras and balancing our chakras, whether it's our masculine and feminine energies, or our spiritual and our physical world. or the tree of life. It's just about creating a balance of not too much of this, not too much of that. Kind of like if you go on a seesaw when we were kids, right? You have to find the balance. You got to go more centered into the fulcrum where there's balance. If it's too heavy on one side or too light, you kind of lose it.
Yeah, and something suffers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, I know we all see it in different. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was hoping to get away from this one, but all right. Well, for me in my life, it's really interesting because as a young mother, I was really in charge of bringing the money into the home. I was in charge of my daughters. I had 2 stepdaughters 3 months a year. I tried to be this super mom, woman, worker, be absolute the best I could be. And even traveling back then in the early 80s, I remember when going on the plane, they told you to put the oxygen mask on you. I got, oh my God, what about my kids? You always thought in terms of your kids, your kids, your kids. And that is actually the exact opposite of what we should be doing as far as my thought process, thinking the kids. And I watch it with my children now, with what they do with their children. And I want to shake them up and say, no, you need an hour's rest. The children will be okay, because if you're exhausted, how can you possibly be taking care of these children? And then I look at it as, again, as a divorced woman and working with divorced people, how can you ever think that you are going to be the best you can be if you don't take care of yourself? I mean, the downside of it is so detrimental. And I watch it with, mothers and fathers going through this, just not knowing what to do.
Right.
Yeah, another analogy that we use is imagine that we are a vehicle. We are driving our family wherever we need to go, and eventually the fuel tank gives out.
Goes out on empty.
And you're on empty. You can't help others until you refuel.
It's interesting too, we used to like taking the definition of it, of wellness now being we are in charge of our health, in our minds, in our bodies, in our social situations, in so many different places, where before we thought about being well as just meaning if I'm sick, I go to the doctor. And back then the doctor was a medical doctor. So when you went in, it was always about getting a pill. If you can't sleep, here's a pill. If you're depressed, here's a pill. If you have a heart issue, there's a pill. I mean, some things, look, don't get me wrong, we do need the pills and we need the medical doctors, but we've so come such a long way. Like, I watch my daughters now teaching a 5-year-old, my grandsons, when they're getting really upset about something or they don't know how to control themselves, how to go to their room and sit and do a yoga class, how to sleep. I have apps online that I actually use with my grandsons to calm them down, to get them ready to rest. It's so interesting how times have changed.
Yeah, but that also goes to computers and the phones. I see with my kids, when they get revved up, I just take the phone away and say, okay, now we're going to unplug.
It's highly, stimulating.
Oh my God! And they can't sleep.
And the energy that computers and the phones give off is terrible, unhealthy as well.
It's extremely unhealthy.
Horrible anxiety. Forget about what they see on social media. The whole system.
And I really, my youngest is 13 and my oldest is 19, and I have a 17-year-old, and I really try to make sure with him, most especially, just take it away. He doesn't need to be on something all the time. And
set boundaries.
Oh, from the beginning, absolutely. No, sincerely. And actually, I see him so much different when he's out in nature. He's totally creating, and he's
grounding.
And he's an artist, and I just see when he's on his devices, he loses that creativity. I take everything away, and all of a sudden he's using whatever is in his grasp to create stuff, whether it be clay or paper or even tinfoil. Like, I see it, so it's really important.
Tinfoil.
I'm not kidding you. I find tinfoil little sculptures all over my house. I love it. I'd rather him doing that.
That is very, very cool.
Just one other thing I may say. So you were talking about the pill before, and like we were all, so we used to go to the doctors only when we were sick. Now we've really learned there's just so many different ways for preventative medications.
I want to talk about that for a second, because one of the things I've learned to practice having issues with neck and back is really using acupuncture. And using acupuncture or chiropractic medicine, but also not just that, but using fitness as a way to heal yourself. But the acupuncture has really, for me, has mitigated me taking medications. So for someone who doesn't want to use medications, it really does make a huge difference. And the acupuncture also does help with relaxation, and of course, for me, it's getting a massage.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, and having a great masseuse in your back pocket to say, wow, I need a massage just to regenerate, relax, make yourself feel better, is such a huge thing for so many. And I encourage my clients in business, because it's one way to unwind in terms of really feeling calm, and in a way just relaxing. And I encourage people to do it of all different ages. My mom and dad have been doing it recently just to really help with anxiety and stress. It's amazing. And they never did it when they were younger. And they're like, wow, I can't believe I never did this.
It's so true. I was just actually, you hit on the fitness piece, which is very interesting. I have had twice and reversed osteoporosis. So originally, I mean, I bought into needing the Fosamax, and a lot of women do, but if you catch it early on, and again, I've done acupuncture and chiropractics and supplements, and I've gotten off all meds, including the Fosamax, by working out every day and using weights or resistance bands. And you want to know something? That's part of a routine now, which is part of my wellness. Like I wake up in the morning and it's boom, boom, boom. And for me, I see a trainer 4 times a week, a half an hour, and that has reversed my osteoporosis twice into osteopenia just by working holistically. So with that, I just want to say I had everybody here do an exercise I do with my clients talking about balance. And it's called the Wheel of Life, where we literally balance out. And I had everybody do it. It's actually, the topics are friends and family, significant other, personal growth, fun and leisure, home environment, career, money, and health. And you basically, very briefly, look at it, and on a scale of 0 to 10, what is your satisfaction level in each area? So if everybody would just turn those around and show the camera, because I'm going to ask you, after looking at it, did it turn out? Of course, Susan. Of course, Susan, our artist, our proverbial artist. Not only did she color it in, matching colors.
It's very beautiful.
Very pretty.
Okay.
Yes.
How did you see your life, speaking of balanced, in a holistic way, or what we can do about it? I'm going to ask each of you, going around, if you look at yours, talk about what might have surprised you and what you might want to make a small change in, a baby step towards improving to find more satisfaction with your life, because that's part of wellness.
I love the colors.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what is yours, Susan?
So, you know, I'm very blessed. I have a wonderful husband, and we're married 32 years. He's been a great partner, great support system. So I'm always grateful for him in my life. Yes, is there room for growth? Always. So we have to leave that open. My personal growth, I've been on my own journey for the past several years. For those who don't know, I was a stay-at-home mom for about 20 years, and I decided to go back to school, and my business, my life just evolves. So, and I'm learning so much about myself during the process. And I'm also a grandmother now, so that's another part of my personal growth, and it's also part of my family and friends, and I live in an amazing community. I have you ladies as my tribe, my who I vibe with, and so I'm very fortunate there. As far as like, do I need more fun and leisure time? Possibly, because there's just, you know, we talked about last time about the struggle with the juggle. It's just really hard to find the balance. So I like more fun and leisure time. I love hiking more. I would love to do more theater and so forth, and I just don't put myself out there. Career, you know what? I've taken a little sabbatical hiatus. Thank
How about
you.
the summer off, like kids going to summer camp?
Right, so I took a little hiatus, but that's okay, because I use it as my time to cocoon and waiting for my wings to grow. And like, this is something new in my career, and I hope it blossoms with the three of you, because it's been so fabulous. I love my clients. I just put workshops on hiatus and my talks on hiatus. So, but I'm getting there.
But if you had to pick one little thing that you could take a baby step towards, like looking at this balance now, for your health and wellness, what would you pick? One little thing that you could improve upon that would make you a little happier, and a baby step towards it. No big promises.
Well, I think it's my health right now. Part of my hiatus was I'm going through, my change of life right now, yes. This perimenopause thing, yes, I'm putting it out there. So
that'll be another show. That'll be another show.
So it was just so with it, like I had to deal with the highs and lows of my hormones, my mood swings, and dealing with life. And so I need to get back into eating right because I've lost the ability to eat correctly. I get lost focus, so I need to get back into eating healthy, get back into nature again, and find more leisure time and happy time. So so I'm going to work towards my health.
Good for you. Amy, can you hold yours up so everyone could see and tell us a little bit what you discovered?
Well, I discovered that my fun and leisure was not as much as I would like it to be. And part of that comes back to growing a business and really focusing and zeroing in on things. And I have a tendency to put those things on a back burner and not always have as much fun. I have fun with friends. I feel like friends and family, I've been able to really find a great balance in spending time with ladies like you and vibing together. And I've also found some other groups of wonderful women who live where I live. And so I've been able to do those different things. But when it comes to fun and leisure, I would love to spend more time in nature. I would love to spend more time doing activities with family.
Then we should do it.
Let's do it.
Well, let me just ask you, if you found a half an hour twice a week, a small baby step, how would that improve everything else for you?
I think I would feel a little more calm sometimes because it allows you to walk away from things. And so I do that at home. And I think part of it is when you work from home as a business person, it's very easy to sort of give up those things. You get up, you walk to the computer, you do that, you do this. And I take care of that. I don't do that in the morning. I do fitness and I listen to other people say, don't leave your phone in your room, leave things apart so you have a separation from emails. And I will get up and I will go to the gym first. I journal, go to the gym. I actually do bar method. And I also do workout and do weightlifting like you, Jacqui. I find that those things do relieve a lot of that emotional component of frustration or fear, things that might show up throughout the day. But it's really when you're in your home, it's hard to have that balance because your office is your home if you're working from home. So for me, I would love to spend more time there. And I also gave myself a little low on the money side because I'm rebuilding from starting a business. And I look at that as taking time. It's a journey. And I've learned to step back. And for me in the beginning, I was really fearful that I wasn't going to make money as a coach, being a sole entrepreneur. And so I've had to find ways to incorporate that. And I think if I could incorporate more fun and leisure into those things, I wouldn't feel so stressed about certain things in my life at different points.
Okay. So I want to ask you, you actually put together your business with fun and leisure. That was a very interesting statement you just made. How could you do that so you would have a little more fun with your business?
Well, fun and leisure might also mean going out for a great networking luncheon with friends or with business colleagues, or even going to an event together with somebody. Or, it's even, I've looked at it where I will go for a weekend retreat. And so that way of combining the two is one, it gets you to have that fun and leisure. I work with somebody who actually takes people on retreats and they go out in Colorado and other places. So you're getting that nice balance and wellness at the same time. So for many women that are sole practitioners, to get out of the house and to spend a weekend retreat. And I know, Susan, you talked about groups and doing different things, but that is a lot of how I find that for me, that will make a big difference.
Right. And for me, one of the things I do incorporate with fun and leisure and business is that in the spring and the fall, I offer these walk and talk.
Yes.
I might need to go on one.
So we go into, we do a little mini hike and we do something meditative and creative, and it's just a great place to get grounded, and it's good for me and it's good for my clients.
I would love to do that with you.
Love to do that with you. We should do it as a group thing
A great working lunch.
Yeah.
Of course, lunch is always in there for me, if you know me. Okay, Julianne, what about you? Can you show us yours?
Yeah, sure. So when I first started doing this, I thought to myself, I'm pretty satisfied with my life. There's from day to day, there can be different things that come up. But I guess if I had to choose for me, much like the rest of you ladies, I'm very blessed. I have a wonderful husband and a wonderful relationship, and he's a passion of mine. We really have a great and deep friendship. And when I was growing my business, this sliding scale, I always talk about the sliding scale, you know, who's going to be more important and who needs the more attention. And really, my husband was put on the back burner for a long time as I grew my relationship with my business and for my clients. But I think if I were to choose one, I would love to cultivate my friendship and my relationship with my husband a little bit more.
Okay, I'm just going to show them. Look how high hers is on here. And she's the dating and relationship coach. So it's interesting that this is like the highest, and yet she wants more. I think that's so interesting. I think it's great.
No, I'm very blessed, and I, you know, for the longest time, I'm aware that he was somewhat neglected in a way. He probably would not say so, and it's just my own thing, and I'd love to make it even richer. And
how will you do that, though? You're the dating coach, so how do you do that? How do you tell someone to do that?
How do I tell a client to do
that? When you're so high already and you have this really healthy relationship, but you're wanting more, but you want to still maintain all the other, you know, it goes back to that struggle with the juggle. But how do you tell somebody to really manage through that?
It's really about good communication with your partner. It's to really find out what this may be important to me, but what's important to him as well. I'd have to have that discussion with him and find out what can I.
She's so smart. Oh my God, so smart.
No, well, I'm lucky in that he is one of, you guys know how I talk about him, and he really is one of a kind in that when we came to this relationship, he's a great communicator. I'm just really very blessed. And so if I were to open up the conversation with him, sometimes it can be uncomfortable, but it would be really nice to hear what he has to say.
I like that, though, because my husband will sometimes say, did you know, and I always consider him when I do a lot of things, but when I don't, he says, well, you didn't ask about me. And so it's interesting you say that, because it's really being mindful of someone else's well-being that you share a home or a life with. And even in kids, you know, my daughter will say, well, Mom, what's for dinner? And it's 6 o'clock and I'm still working. So it's also, how do you know to shut that off so that you don't infringe on that wellness as a family? Because look, dinner time can be a nice sense of calm and being together, and it also is really a way to feel connected.
What about if you just put an alarm on for yourself? Just like I tell my daughter to do with my grandsons, because they get very busy with what they're doing, and just saying dinner's ready is very upsetting. But if you put the alarm on, even for the kids or for yourself, 15 minutes, dinner, 10 minutes,
dinner, easy. That's
and do it
from Staples.
That's right, and that could be just a little tip, you know, because that is important. The most important relationship. My turn. All right. Look at mine. I surprised myself too. Career I put on a low because I am so hard on myself, because in my first marriage I was the breadwinner, and the career for me had to be all about the money. So I almost was like male-like, even though I was feminine, I was like the man, because I had to be the one bringing in the money. And even though there was 2 children we had together, and then 2 other children that were my ex-husbands that lived with us 3 months a year because they lived out west. So I was the mother of 4 at 26 and kind of earning the living. See, this still always shows up for me. I probably am better at it than I think, but I'm so hard on myself where that's concerned. So now I got to be this divorce coach, even though I was a mediator years ago, because I really feel I have a message I want to get out. I think I have something important to help people with, but yet I never think I'm doing enough in the career area. I really do think I've mellowed in the family area, and I think every day now I also tell my husband what I am grateful to him for in our relationship. And Frank, if you're listening, I need a few of those gratefuls back at me. Haven't heard any lately. But seriously, I just feel like I want to work on it, and that's where you push me. You guys push, but she pushes the crap out of me. Because I think you know that I need it.
Well, you know what I've learned?
That's a good thing.
It's little tidbits. It's like, oh wow, you should check this out. Instead of saying you need to do this,
Right.
it's those little tips that you do for each other. And I do that with my family. I do that with my daughter and with my husband. And you just put it out there. And then people hear you. And I learned a long time ago, sometimes people need to hear things 3 times.
Yes, without a doubt.
And so, but that's it.
I think the word is 7 times. They say
It is.
Well, some people are slow learners, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
So why don't we just figure out, like, how can we help our audience today? Give them some tips, whether it's, taking action with your mind, your body, your emotions, and just practical steps to make the change.
I did a quick read. One of my, again, like I did last time on the Today Show, I have people that I follow and I really like.
You really like them.
I do.
They're
They
great.
vibe.
They're
Because they
great.
vibe, and I love that feeling. So I watch as
And
one
you
of the
know what?
cooks.
It'd be nice if they asked us to be on the show, because we keep promoting them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I also, guys, I watch the cooking channel, Giada. This one's for you. So Giada did a whole article that I read on self-care. And it came, speaking on what people can learn, it came from the strong women in her life. It came from her mother, it came from her aunt, it came from her grandmother, how to take care of yourself. And she's passing that on to her daughter. Yes, she is a cook. She does what she does, but she's very mindful. She has a strict diet she keeps to. She puts as she gets older, she puts it gets more complicated. What we need to do to keep ourselves youthful, naturally, she does yoga, she does meditation. She's teaching self-care to her daughter. It's not just about brushing your teeth, it's about flossing. So it's about teaching and looking at the people that are mentors in different ways and incorporating that, and then being part of that for the next generation, in my case, children and grandchildren. They listen when they see you do what you practice.
That's
Absolutely.
just it. You have to model the
Right,
behavior.
right. They don't only listen to your words, they watch.
what you do.
Yes, totally.
Yes, yes.
So that would be one thing I would say. What about you? You brought it up. Go ahead, what would you say?
There's certain things I think we need to, like I will tell my clients, you got to create a list, couple lists, one for you, one for your family, one for your community, and one for your business. And then list your goals, list what you want, and then break it down, take baby steps, and make them SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And put it in your calendar, so in your week's time, you get to do at least something for each of your category. And it's about it's about meditation, it's about breathing and journaling, going for the walk, eating right. All of these things are incorporated, being creative and not thinking about, about what's going on, because when you're creative, it's kind of like an active meditation. You're very much in the zone, focusing on what you're doing, and sometimes you don't know what you've created until you step away and looked at it.
And I've worked with people who are so overwhelmed by everything. And I love your list idea in the columns. I have experience though where people look at that list and say, I'm not going to be able to accomplish any of it. They look at the mountain rather than saying, okay, let me choose one thing. One thing, that's it. Whether it be cut caffeine out of your diet, take a walk, do something for you. I'm a big believer that if just one thing, as moms, we have that guilt, we can't do for ourselves. One thing is okay to do for yourself.
Well, there is a great book called The One Thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ladies have read it, but it does talk exactly about what you said.
See, I'm so smart.
We're all pretty intuitive. We all get each other, and this is why we work together, because we understand, and we're here to help as many people as we can.
I started hitting on something really interesting too. I find clutter is a real problem for me.
I was going to go there.
Yeah. So for me, I started the other day, because now it's fall, summer's over, enough time to get back to work. Like kids get back to school, we get back to work. Even my drawers, my closet, and I'm pretty neat, but there's clutter. I keep buying instead of removing when I buy, and that's a rule I swear by. So I hit the closet a little bit yesterday, and every day I'm just going to hit a little bit more of the closet. Because for me, removing the clutter gives my brain the ability to operate in a more functional way, which is healthy.
Metaphor
it's
for
healthy. So go ahead, Amie.
Going back to what Julianne said, one of the things that I do with clients is they simplify. There's a way of simplicity. So in business, things get complicated. And that's when people get overwhelmed and they can't function. They can't do the things that they want to do at work. So keeping it simple. Yes. And also streamlining what you want to do. You don't have to do everything. So how do you make it simple? Or how do you get the resources or people to help you in business? I mean, one of the things that I do is I have my dry cleaning delivered. That was always a hassle, so I get my dry cleaning delivered. For a while I was getting my groceries. I was shopping online and picking them up so I didn't have to go shopping in the grocery store. So that was one thing that might stress people out. So you don't have to go in the grocery store. I was also shopping at too many grocery stores, so now I narrow it down, getting a little bit from a little bit of here. So you find ways to simplify. And the other thing is taking what Susan said too, is that list that I tell people to do, but the list is really more to just have a plan every day and plan. I've talked about it before, but plan the next day. It's like plan tomorrow today. So that you do have a plan and a journey, but always start with something with wellness. I start with journaling, I start with fitness, and when I don't, I can see the difference in how my mind and my day goes. And today I didn't start with fitness, and I can tell because you didn't have a way, and you talked about that too. Is you drink the coffee and you don't really eat up that energy, and even kids need to do that. So just really practicing it in a way that allows you to approach the day in a really calming way, as opposed to being crazy. And journaling will do that too. It alleviates a lot of that.
And even as a group, even starting this show, people don't know behind the scenes, we do get together, we meditate, and we energetically connect so we can be grounded.
And Susan makes sure of that. That's her job.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
And allow the intuition come in. And I think you guys are so intuitive, and I'm so blessed to be with
likewise.
you. You all are.
So I'm Amie Blumberg.
I'm Susan Greif.
I'm Jacqui Atcheson.
And I'm Julianne Cantarella.
And we are Live with the Vibe.